Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name's Ben Davis and I've created this channel to help people level up their health, fitness and mindset. Today I'm going to teach you how to do your very first pull-up. Not only that, but how to do multiple reps whilst using good form. You may be watching this video right now never having attempted a pull-up, or perhaps you can only manage a few reps but are struggling to get your first 10. It really doesn't matter what stage you're currently at. The tools that I'm going to give you in this video are going to help you not only achieve your first pull-up if you're not there already, but help you perform multiple reps. I really want to highlight that strength and being specific in your training are two really important components when it comes to achieving your first pull-up. The reason why strength is so important is because it's the key component that's actually going to allow you to do a pull-up in the first place. Just think about it. If you're watching this video right now and you can't do one pull-up, believe me, it's a strength problem and not a skill-based one. This is why you can do all the banded pull-ups in the world or even use the assisted pull-up machine. But if you're not following the rule of progressive overload, which we'll go into in a moment, then you're going to struggle to get the adaptations that are going to allow you to get strong enough to achieve your first pull-up. With that being said, of course there's technique involved in doing a pull-up. However, the good news is it's nothing too complex. Instead, we just need to follow a selection of exercises. Now, I'm not talking about traditional lat pull down or the use of an assisted pull-up machine. Instead, we want to be specific as possible as we want to mimic the movement patterns of the pull-up. So make sure you stick around because I'm going to show you exactly what them exercises are. Right guys, first things first, let's warm up, then jump into the practical steps. So firstly, let's take a very quick look at the anatomy. We want to understand what muscles are being worked during a pull-up, or better known as being placed under tension. Now, you don't need to be an expert or remember all the names here, but it will serve you well as there's parts of the pull-up that require a really good mind-to-muscle connection. So understanding the muscles that are being placed under tension will help strengthen that connection. The muscle groups involved in doing a pull-up from the start of the lift, so the hanging position, all the way to the top position where our head's over the bar, can be broken down into two groups. So we have primary muscle groups. These muscles provide the most pulling power and include the lats, biceps and teres major. Then we have secondary muscle groups. These are the muscles which support the lift mainly through stabilization of the core and shoulder blades, also known as your scapula. The other muscles involved are your abdominals, trapezius, rhomboids, triceps and pectorals. There are also some variations of pull-ups you can utilize to add emphasis towards different muscle groups. These pull-up variations include wide grip pull-ups or even neutral grip pull-ups. However, the teachings of this video is going to be based around maximizing engagement in your traps, lats and teres minor and major, as developing these muscles are going to give you a strong looking back. Okay, let's take a look at the type of grip that you need to use in the pull-up I'm going to teach you today. I want you to grip the bar using a pronated grip. You want to avoid using a close grip or a supinated grip, as these two hand grip positions will favour the biceps. Okay, moving on to leg positioning. You can either keep your legs straight down like I've demonstrated here, or bend them. To be honest, this isn't going to make too much of a difference. Some people like to put their legs out in front of them, but this adds much more emphasis to the core and is slightly more advanced than what I'm teaching you here. Okay, now let's take a look at doing one full pull-up whilst optimizing tension in our lats, traps and teres major and minor. To do this, I'm going to break the pull-up down into three main components. Once we've covered this, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide to the type of exercises that you need to do to help you achieve your very first pull-up if you can't do one already. Step 1. Jump onto the bar into a passive hang. The passive hang is great on its own for the purpose of mobility and increasing range of motion. However, doing a pull-up straight from this position isn't a great idea, as the arms, in particular the biceps, are having to overcompensate for the lift, thus by default taking away some of the attention from the targeted muscles. We now want to go from a passive hang to an active hang. By performing scapular pull-ups like demonstrated here, I am retracting my shoulder blades, pulling them closer together to take me from a passive hang to an active hang. The positioning of my shoulder blades activates the lats, traps and both the teres major and minor, as well as the rhomboids. Putting this all together, you're going from a passive hang to an active hang and then to pulling yourself all the way up to get your head over the bar. So if you made it this far into the video, firstly thank you, because you must be very patient. But with all jokes aside, you may be thinking, Ben, I can't even do one pull-up. I can barely even hang from the bar. That's absolutely fine. What I'm going to teach you right now is going to be a step-by-step guide to help you achieve your first pull-up. Remember, if you can't perform a pull-up, it's a strength problem and not a technique one. This is why it's crucially important you follow a progressive training program. This means utilizing progressive overload to allow for adaptations in strength. By progressing through these exercises in the order I have laid out will allow you to build upper body strength, as well as being specific enough by closely copying the movement patterns associated with a regular pull-up. Okay, up first, we want to perform a negative pull-up in the squat rack. Out of the 3 exercises I'm going to demonstrate, this is the easiest one. You simply need to place a barbell shoulder height in a squat rack, like you see demonstrated here, and then place yourself under the bar in a passive hang. Now the main focus of this exercise is on the negative part of the movement. This is the lowering phase of the pull-up. Thus, to begin with, if you can't pull yourself up to the bar, either drive power through your legs or even just start in a stand-up position with your head over the bar. Once your head is over the bar, this is where the exercise starts. I want you to slowly, and I mean slowly, lower yourself down into a seated position like demonstrated here. Repeat this for 3 sets times 5 reps. Now, to apply progressive overload, we need to do 3 things in this order. Step 1, increase the amount of time it takes to complete the negative part of the lift. For example, if it took you 10 seconds to complete the lowering phase, so the negative part of the lift, then increase the time to 15 seconds. This is increasing the time spent under tension. Step 2, if you're starting the exercise in the standard position, then drop down into the seated position. And if you're really struggling to pull yourself up over the bar, then slightly use your legs to drive yourself up. Step 3, the final step. If you're already starting in a seated position, or you've progressed up to this point, this is really good. Now we just really need to focus on improving your upper body strength. To do this, to start in the pull-up position, I want you to really focus on using your upper body strength instead of using your legs to drive your head over the bar. Okay, to conclude, as a form of progressive overload, we are manipulating time under tension and intensity to allow for new strength adaptations. Next up, we have the inverted row. This exercise is slightly more complicated or more complex than the negative seated pull-up. However, it does come with 2 variations, a beginner's version and a more advanced version. The one I'm demonstrating is the advanced version. However, if you're finding it difficult, I'm going to give you some pointers how to make it a bit easier. To perform this exercise, you need to place a barbell in a squat rack about waist height or just above. You can also use a Smith machine too if you have access to one. Now you need to sit under the bar and grip it using a pronated grip. This is the same grip that I taught you earlier. For the advanced version, as shown here, place your feet all the way out in front of you by fully straightening your legs. If you're really struggling with this exercise, I have 2 tips for you. You can either elevate your legs by placing a box underneath them, or you can keep your feet flat on the floor but bend your knees. Either way, doing both these tweaks will help you perform the exercise slightly easier. Once you've got yourself in the preferred starting position, pull yourself up until your chest is a few inches away from the bar. Hold for a second before lowering yourself back down. So in terms of progressive overload for this exercise, you need to do the following things in this order. So step 1, aim to perform the advanced version that I demonstrated in the video. As this will increase the intensity of the exercise, as well as increasing the demand of core strength. Okay, so step 2 would simply be increase the total amount of working volume. So this could look like increasing the number of repetitions in a given set, or increasing the amount of sets you perform, or even both. So again, to conclude, here we are manipulating volume and intensity as a form of progressive overload. So the last exercise that I want you to perform comfortably or work towards performing is the negative pull-up. This exercise is crucial as it's the only exercise that really closely mimics doing the pull-up, at least in the fashion that's going to be able to build your upper body strength without the assistance of bands or a weighted pull-up machine. Now, to perform this exercise properly, it's super helpful if you can find a box that is high enough to place your head above the bar in the starting position. Now, if you don't have access to a box that is high enough, it's fine to jump up into the starting position. So you want to jump up to get your head over the bar to start the exercise. Once you've got your head over the bar in the starting position, I want you to lower your body down slowly. Remember, lowering yourself down slowly in a controlled manner is key for this exercise, as this will allow your muscles to spend more time under tension, which will allow you to become stronger. Okay guys, you'll probably notice I've missed out the assisted pull-up machine and banded pull-ups. Now this was intentional, as I personally believe that these two exercises support the lift too much, making it too easy. So there is an argument to be made that you could lighten up the bands or increase the resistance in the assisted pull-up machine. Of course, this would make the exercise more difficult. However, I still personally believe that these two exercises provide too much assistance and isn't the most efficient route to go down to achieving your first pull-up. You may also ask, what about regular lat pull downs? Surely these support building strength to help us achieve our first pull-up. The answer is kind of yes and no. This is where you need to think about being specific again. So an easy solution would be switch your regular lat pull downs for a kneeling lat pull down, as you will get a greater core activation which resembles that of a regular pull-up. Again, remember to apply progressive overload by increasing the intensity, i.e. increasing the amount of weight you are lifting, but also make sure you can perform the exercise with good form when you increase the weight. So that ends this video. Thank you very much for watching guys. If you made it this far, fair play to you. The best way to support me or support this channel is subscribe, like the video, and even better, share it with a friend or family member. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next video.